Boom! Greetings from YouTube, Bill. Once again, Danny Savage, Draft Guru, coming at you with three prospects for the 2025 NFL Draft. That these three kids, listen, bro, they're kids to me, but these three dudes made a lot of money this past off season. I mean, this past season. Wait, real quick. What's up? By far the best beard on YouTube. Little bit of coffee. All right. Some of them, three kids I'm going to give you. Some are established. Some just popped off out of the screen out of nowhere. But yet, they're talking about second round, late first, early seconds. First is a kid, Mike Green, out of little old Marshall. He's an edge. 6'4", 250. He has 60 tackles on the year, 13 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. The games that Marshall played up against some of the Big Ten teams, he played well, which you want to see because, he's in a lower level of competition. His not his program, his division that he's in. So when they're going up against the Penn States of the world, Ohio States, you want to see him perform. And he did. And then you also want to see him when he's playing against peers that are like at same colleges. You know what I'm trying to say? You want him to dominate. And he has. And this kid's pretty much come out of nowhere. They're looking at this kid as a second round draft pick. I know he made a lot of money, man. He made a lot of money this season. And the season's not over yet. I'm sure once the season's over, he's going to sit out the draft. Sit out the bowl games. Because all these kids that get drafted high, they don't play in the bowl games. Because they don't want to get hurt. Can you blame them? I wouldn't. Next kid is a kid I've given you. I gave you him in the summertime, man. And I'm like, yo, this kid made a lot of money because he's very versatile. His name is Landon Jackson. He started off at LSU and then he transferred to Arkansas. Yo, this kid is 6'7", 290. Solid, spectacular 2-year production. And so far for the year, he has 35 tackles, 5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. Yo, this kid is 6'7", 290, and he's playing an edge. He's playing defensive tackle. He's playing even stand-up outside linebacker. That's how athletic this kid is. That's also how Clemson used to play Brian Burress, who I said should have been the pick over MaxiPad. Because Brian Burress would play 1, would pay 3, and then he'd be playing 5-tech standing up. When you have a kid that's 6'6", 300 plus that can play 5-tech standing up and rush the passer, that's athleticism. You can't coach that. You get that from your parents. You're born with it. I'm trying to get my hat right, but it is what it is. But in my opinion, Landon Jackson would be a perfect 3-4, 5-tech. This is just me, like tinkering around. But as of now, he can do it both. He can do it all. 6'7", 290, and he will get bigger. If you want him as a 5-tech, that's a big-ass edge, man. 6'7", 290. Yo, he's stout against the run, and he gets to the quarterback. He has crazy length. He is going to go. Don't be shocked you see him as a late first rounder, early second. Don't be shocked, people. I've explained it to you numerous times. In the NFL, when you can do numerous things, your stock goes up. It's like a Swiss pocket knife, Swiss Army knife. Another kid, he played. Listen, before the season started, I told everybody, and it's on my channel, that Texas had the nation's best offensive line. And I'm still saying they do as a whole. My number one offensive tackle is Will Campbell, left tackle out of LSU. He is my number one. But then we got Banks. Good morning. Good afternoon, Charlene. My second one is Banks out of Texas. But now here we have another Texas offensive tackle, Cameron Williams. Bro, let me tell you something. This kid made himself a lot of money this year. I see him more as a right side tackle in the NFL. And, this kid is just a beast, man. And he's 6'5", 345. And he's a mauler in the run game. Anybody remember Broderick Jones? He's like in the mold of that. As a whole, Texas does have the number one offensive line. But this kid, he made himself a lot of money. We all know in the draft, left tackles are more coveted, and left tackles are going to get drafted first. But you still need to have a monster on the right side, because the right side is considered the strong side. The right side guard and the right tackle is the strong side, because 99% of all these quarterbacks are righties. And if they are lefties, it's the opposite. But also left tackle is considered a position of glory, because if your quarterback is right-handed, you're protecting his blind side. But this kid's like as wide as a refrigerator, and he's being overshadowed by Banks, Texas's left tackle, and he's everyone's number 2 offensive tackle, even though some people have him as the number 1 tackle. And listen, this is not me, people. Don't shoot the messenger. But Banks is like 6'4", crazy wide, man. He's wide as a refrigerator. And he's a mauler, and he's a great offensive tackle at left tackle. Like I said, don't shoot the messenger. But in the NFL, what happens to all short, good, collegiate left tackles? They slide him into left guard. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Listen, we can nitpick on anybody. He's not that height. He's not that tall. He's at 6'4". Will Campbell's arms are like maybe 2 inches shorter than they're supposed to be. I don't care. He's still my number 1. He's just a beast, and he has been. He's been my number 1 since May. Could it change? Well, a lot of things could change. We could find out he has something wrong with him at the combine, but we're having fun here. But these are kids that have made a lot of money. I got another video coming out with 3 more kids that made a shitload of money this offseason, this college season. Nate Dogg, what's up? I'm liking Graham from Michigan. Oh, he's my number. But I know a lot of Cowboy fans don't want him. Listen, man, I get it. But follow me, people. All the Cowboy fans that are afraid of Michigan players, go look up Aiden Hutchinson from the Detroit Lions. He broke his leg this year. Look up his stats the last few years. Look up defensive end, defensive tackle, Rashawn Gary. I watched him play in high school, and then he went to Michigan, and he was a former first-round draft pick for the Green Bay Packers. Look how many sacks he has. Don't blame the player. Blame the scout. A perfect example. Nate Dogg brought up a great example. So 2 years ago, everybody was blowing up Mozzie Smith. I call him Maxi Pad, because I'm supposed to be watching this kid that everyone's blowing up, but yet there's another kid making all the plays. being stronger at the point of attack, getting rid of his blockers, getting upfield. And I looked, I did my research, and his name is Mason Graham. So as a true freshman, Mason Graham was the best defensive tackle on Michigan's team. So now last year, you got Jenkins on Michigan. Everybody's saying, oh, Jenkins is the number one D tackle. You know, I'm watching every single Michigan game. Once again, Mason Graham stands out to me. On top of a broken hand, he's playing with a club on his hand. The kid has a motor that's nonstop. 6'3", 330. He doesn't just sit back and catch blocks. I don't believe that they teach to the Michigan defensive tackles that. I don't believe that shit for 1 second. Because Mason Graham has violent hands. He doesn't dance around. He just jacks up wherever. And he plays 3, he plays 1, he plays whatever he wants. Goes out to 5. He gets upfield. He has a nonstop motor. Anyone wants to question his effort, go look up Texas versus Michigan. Listen, bro, Michigan lost 10 starters on offense. So when Michigan played Texas, that defense was on the field the entire game. It was like 31-7 at one point. A lot of dudes would have given up. Mason Graham was playing every single down like it was a tie ball game. Bro, he has a non-stop motor. But I understand, Dallas fans say, we don't want no Michigan. You also should feel the same way about LSU. How did Jabril Cox turn out for us? How did Mo Claiborne turn out for us? How did Damone Clark turn out for us? So who's ever our scout, and when you see our scouts on the Dallas, you recognize a lot of last names because their fathers were coaches or players. So Jerry just gives them job. And fire the scouts, not the players. Player can't help it. He got drafted, And there's also another saying, too. Don't scout the helmet, scout the player. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to do, but you have to look past it because you're not going to take Mason Graham and then another team is going to take him, but then you got to play against him for the next decade. I don't blame you. I hear you, Charlene. A lot of Cowboys fans, we get scared because of Taco Charlton and Mozzie Smith. I agree with you 1,000%. Fifth quarter Cowboys in the house. What's going on? Glad to have you in chat. I understand what you're saying, Charlene, but I just gave you 2 other Michigan D linemen that went to other teams and they're monsters. We should also feel the same way about LSU because our scouting department got us 2 busts at linebackers from LSU. So you have to blame. There's a video out there, right? Check this out. Dallas was thinking about drafting Overshown, linebacker for Texas. We all know Jerry Jones is a billionaire, so he donates money to Texas and Arkansas and shit. So he has a grandson that plays for Texas. He's only on the team because his last name is Jones. You could watch this video. It's out there. They called him up. They were like, get Paxton on the phone. And Jerry's like, tell me about Overshown. Overshown has turned out good so far. But so you're telling me we drafted him because Jerry Jones' grandson gave the seal of approval? For that, we might as well have flipped a coin. And let's be honest, lately, all of our greater players, we've backed into them. So Will McClay better get his ass in gear, man, because he's living off of past drafts, man. He's living off of 2014 taking Zach Martin over Johnny Football. I got one more video coming out, and like I said, these kids all made crazy, crazy money. How ironic, last night I told you to check out the Bowling Green game, and the kid Hannon, the tight end, he had like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he's gonna be he might be the third. It all depends. He's gonna probably win the Mackey Award, John Mackey Award. That's for the highest. That's for the best collegiate tight end. But it's a decent tight end class. But I don't know. I'm real good with them about up to 5, and then I think the position falls off a cliff. But Harold Fannin last night, he was all over the place, and I called that. And I don't see him getting out. I don't see him getting out of round 2 or round 3. Like I said, man, either tonight or tomorrow, you got to check out the Frisco Report. We got Cowboys Corner. We got 5th Quarter Cowboy, Freaky Fridays, and What the Fuck Mondays. Excuse my language. We got Cowboys Champs. We got OD himself, Cowboys Fiend. We got 1980s Cowboys. We got Eshawn, Hollywood's newest coming actor, bro. Check all these people out. They're all Cowboy fans, but they're not for the establishment. We're the outsiders. We're going to tell you it like it is. You might not like what we say, but we ain't no suck jobs that's like and sound like AI robots of other people's channels, man. We're going to tell you like it is. Because we all know when you're rocking with the GWO, it's for life. I got another video coming out.